And the limitations, there are a few limitations to robotic surgery, be it cost, be it the precision it needs, the precision training it needs, or a particular procedures. There is procedural limitations for robotic surgeries. It's not robotic surgery can be used for to perform every surgery. Or like there is one other limitation. We don't have adequate people who can guide it, who can train it, who can do it. It's a technology. Just because the technology exists, it doesn't mean that every person is trained in this technology, right? We all use ChatGPT today, but how many of us are capable of building a healthcare AI without the use of OpenAI or without the use of like the count definitely comes down. Right. I'm not saying we don't have the capacity or the capability. We do have it, but it's a certain limitation. It needs large space. It needs large cooling systems. It needs a large electricity, a lot of electricity. All of this is these are limitations of using any technology. Right. It's for example, I just give you one example here. Like we all use ChatGPT, but how many of us use the Pro version? A very few. Why? There is only one limitation there, which is stopping us from using it. It can be I don't have the need for that particular extra paid version. Okay, the limitation can be money, right? So these are certain limitations. We understand technology, right? So, for example, when I was talking about IoT or AI, we understand technology. Like we know what AI is, what ML is, what pacemakers do, what robotic surgeries are. We understand technology. And finally, we understand human. Only we become biomedical engineers. That is, I think, when we do justice to the topic, that is clinic to concept to entrepreneurship. That is bringing an idea from the hospitals, building a prototype, and taking it back to the hospitals, or building a business. The primary thing which we all need to understand, which we all need to know, is understanding human life. Right? It can be like, say for example, it can be veterinary science as well. Okay, I don't see veterinary science as a separate discipline. I also believe that any life form which needs like the human word here means any life form. Okay, it can be an animal, it can be a human being, it can be a like it can be anything. Okay, so we understand human being. All put together, it's healthcare, engineering, applications, limitations, technology, and human. All together, we need to understand health, right? So that is where my first slide was talking about hospitals to hospitals. Any idea, any solution which is creating currently problems to the hospital needed to be solved using an idea which can solve the problem of the solution, which can be an ultimate solution to the problem. Okay. So yeah. So now coming to why now. That is, why are we trying to solve this problem right now? Or why are we even talking about this right now? Right? There is only few reasons. Say, when I think 5 years or 10 years back or 15 years back, we never would have thought about a discipline called biomedical engineering, right? Or biotechnology engineering. But now we have bioengineering, we have biomedical engineering, we have biotechnology. There are a lot of bioinformatics. There are a lot of bio-related science and bio-related engineering coming. The reason being, hospitals, that is doctors, were solely dependent on their capabilities 20 years back. But that's not the case today. They're solely dependent on technology. They're solely dependent on equipment driven therapies, equipment driven diagnosis, equipment driven, everything is equipment driven today, right? Say, like we would have seen movies when people used to like take pulse in hands, right? But today, most of the doctors avoid it, at least to a vast extent. We use pulse oximeter because pulse oximeter is accurate, there is no human error, there is no like There are a lot of limitations which is solved using a pulse oximeter, a simple device, right? And why right now is we have come to a decision, or we have come to an understanding that hospitals can't run without an engineer getting into a hospital. Today we have biomedical engineers working in hospitals, right? Like there is no hospital without a biomedical engineer, without an engineering team, because we have realized that engineers and hospitals can definitely provide better patient outcomes. And why right now? Growing burden of chronic diseases. I think India was at the second of diabetes. India was once called the diabetic capital of the world. The reason, we are definitely a country with larger population. Okay, the population is definitely very high. We have one of the most dense population comparing to the land area which we have. Okay, and we are one of the countries where the increase, that is growth of chronic diseases, I'm not talking about acute diseases, growth of chronic diseases have been very high in the last few years. Okay, it's definitely on rise. Not only in India, globally, when we look at the global hospitals or global healthcare, chronic diseases are growing. Diseases like, say, for example, we all went through this COVID, right? We are one generation who went through almost a year and a half of lockdown just because of one particular disease or one particular virus, which caused a havoc around all of us, right? So definitely it is under rise. The reason is very simple. Why is there a rise of burden? There is a lot of environmental changes, a lot of behavioral changes, a lot of changes which has come to our food, right? Like the way we eat food, the way we make food, or the way we the way agricultural produce is done. There is a lot of factors which is coming up, eventually increasing the burden of chronic diseases. Say, for example, diabetes was not a disease; it was categorized as a lifestyle disorder, right? Because there was a change in our lifestyles in the last few years, the way we eat food, the way we exercise, the way we work, or way we attend schools, the way we attend colleges. Say, for example, we would have heard this, right? Like our parents or grandparents tell it. We used to walk miles to school. We used to walk miles to college. We used to cycle, right? We used to walk. We used to cycle. Now we have school bus in front, of school or college bus in front of our home, right? The way we walk has come down because technology has helped us. So it's a technology. So for example, buses or cars can be a solution which is creating a problem, which is definitely creating lifestyle changes. Slowly, these lifestyle changes make impact in creating chronic diseases, right? An aging population. I think once India is definitely, today India is definitely the world's youngest manpower. Okay, what will happen to this youngest manpower in the next 20 years? It will become the oldest population, right? Because we are the largest in population, and like the aging population keeps growing, right? And today we've improved the hospital standards or healthcare standards in such a way that our average age has gone high. It was not the same 50 years back, but now the average life expectancy has been increased due to the improvement in the hospital standards, which increases aging care, which increases the care which needed to take for older people, right? It's a positivity. It's a positive thing. It's optimistic thing, which is definitely has its own negative impacts. Rising healthcare costs. We would have like went to a doctor, like when I was young, like the doctor's fees was 50 rupees. Okay. Today I know doctors who charge 55,000 rupees per consultant, right? A minimum, right? So 50 to 5,000 is almost 100 times growth, right? The cost of hospitals, that is cost of healthcare, has been increasing significantly. Why? Again, all these problems, that is, say, for example, why now? Growing burden of chronic diseases, aging population, rising healthcare cost impact who? The end patient, right? I think India as a country has one of the world's best healthcare system and one of the world's largest healthcare ecosystem, right? That is like every particular every district has a district hospital. Every region has primary clinics. Every place we have a primary healthcare center. Every rural village have a primary healthcare center. Right? This is the government sectors. But along with this, we also have the private hospitals, we have private clinics, we have private clinicians, private consultant doctors. Eventually, all of this is still catering to the hospital needs or the patient needs today. And technology's role in healthcare, right? Say, for example, we talk about AI, IoT, 3D printing, robotics. There is n number of technology coming up or technology growing today. With all of this technology coming in, we definitely need to solve all of this majority of this problems. Right? We might be sitting and worrying about all of these problems. There is two ways of solving a problem. One is ignoring a problem, one is solving a problem, right? So one is there is technology, there is problem, there is us who can readily solve a problem with technology. And one thing which I missed out on the slide is what about entrepreneurship or what about product development? I'll be talking about in detail in upcoming slides, definitely yes. But here, why now? Indian government, that is the government of India, has allowed 100% FDI. FDI is nothing but it's called foreign direct investments. Okay, a company which is registered, that is under its MOA. It's If a company is eligible to be called as a hospital or a healthcare company or a health technology company, that particular company, that particular hospital can get 100% investments from a foreign investor, which is not allowed in any other industry, any other sector, even if it is a pharma company, right? So this enables what? This enables leverage to use technology, build product, sell it to the hospitals, bring more patient outcome, bring better patient outcome. So this is what foreign direct investments is meant to help hospitals or help us. Say, for example, if I have a product idea, okay, if I have a product idea which needs a lot of funds, okay, where can I source funds? Right. So, for example, I came from a lower middle class family. Okay, I think today we've improved the standard of our individual family to middle class. Okay, from lower middle class to middle class. How did this happen? I was able to, not only me, but I was able to start a business. I'm today running a company which has 14 people. We have like around four biomedical engineers working in our company, along with other engineers, other developers, okay, who's catering to the needs of hospitals, starting from training to improvement to rehabilitation. We cater to different industries, different industrial problems, different hospitals problems, right? So yeah. So now coming to what I just take a pause here. Okay, I just take a pause for maybe like 5 minutes just to give you all some time to understand what I've been talking about, to regroup what I'm talking about. Okay, and if I'm open to questions. If you have any questions, we'll just take a 5 minute gap. Say it's 2:10. We'll resume this session once again at 2:15. But till then, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, sir.
So you are on mute.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yes. Sir, my name is R. Ravichander. I'm PhD research scholar.
Sir, I'm not able to hear you properly. I'm able to hear you, but like your voice is very feeble.
Sir, my name is R. Ravichander.
Okay.
Yes. I'm PhD research scholar.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not able to understand it, but I'm able to hear it, but I'm not able to understand the question clearly.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes. My name is R. Ravichander. I'm
Okay.
PhD scholar. Actually, you spoke about many products like pulse oximeter, pacemakers, and all other some other medical equipment, which are very insightful. We are very happy. We have got so many information about the product and how it will be. I mean, how it has been used in the hospital. It is used in the hospital. It will be used in the hospital. Here, I have one doubt on pacemaker. You have also mentioned the pacemaker in two types. Pacemaker, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Actually, as per my concern, pacemaker is an alternative pre-programmable, or I mean, alternative artificial electrical system, right? Which one could be able to generate the electrical impulses by its own and sending it to the heart through every node to ensure the smooth blood pumping mechanism of the heart. As
Yes.
of now, as of now, that will be confirmed by the medical practitioners by performing ECG at the patient and verifying different segment of that ECG signals and telling that whether the implanted pacemaker is working fine or not. This is the current procedure and gateway investigation of finding the function of the implanted pacemaker.
Yes.
Then my basic question is there any other smart system to monitor implanted pacemaker of that patient remotely and send the alert message to the patient caretaker? Is there anyone like that? Is there any system like that?
Understood. Sir, I think, like, say for example, for any implanted device, say for example, like we do have certain limitations. I'll be definitely talking about that in my upcoming slides. Say when we are talking about hospitals or like the healthcare as a whole, we are talking like your. I'll just repeat the question, sir, if I've understood it right. Like you're talking about like if a pacemaker, if we can have something inside, an electronics inside, to track that particular patient, to understand that particular patient's like vital parameters and send signals. Hope I'm right, sir. I've understood the question right.
Yes, actually, as of now, medical doctors could be able to understand that implanted pacemakers function by monitoring the vital parameters like ECG,
Yeah.
SpO2, BP, respiratory, and temperature also.
Yeah.
Is there any other smart system which would be able to monitor that patient's implanted pacemakers function remotely and sends to the, caretaker? Is there any other system like that? That monitoring system I'm asking. Actually, as per my concern, there is no any system which could able to find out so and so. As per your concern, do you have any idea or did you come across any of such a product? Have you seen that or are you manufacturing that?
Got it. Understood, sir. Sir, to be honest, we're not allowed to use any electronic devices today. Like the regulations do not permit today. But like there are a lot of research coming up, like because like say for example, like when you use a pacemaker, because it's an implanted device, like anything outside, anything peripheral, anything on skin, anything on until my until like which it penetrates, it's okay. But when I talk about implants, we are going to implant a device, implant an electronic device, or implant any new device, right? So in that context, as of today, we don't have any commercial product available which is directly having access to the patients. But there are a lot of companies, even pacemaker companies, working on different devices, different technologies, which can help understand not only the pacemaker's quality. Like today, at least we have this pacemakers tracking is already happening. So like the pacemakers values are being tracked, the pacemaker's quality is being tracked, the pacemaker's performance is being tracked. All of this is being already tracked. But to an extent to which we are expecting, to an extent to which a hospital can take decisions instantly, we don't have it currently in commercial market. But there are a lot of companies who are working on it.
I came to understand that you are telling that the pacemaker, I mean, the implanted pacemaker patients will be affected if there is any devices which are implanting to near to the pacemaker or part of the body of the patients will affect the pacemaker. Right? So this is your statement.
It does not will affect the patient, sir. Will affect the regulations we have today.
Like device will affect the I mean the implanted device. Right, sir?
Yes.
Yes. But very actually today morning only I came to understand there is some provision. There is one pacemaker which comes along with the IoT facility. If the device is integrated with the IoT, means definitely it has to be I mean integrated with some other external device. I mean the
Yes.
sensor or some other things.
Yes.
That don't affect that internal pacemaker.
Sir, again, what I'm telling is like it can impact, it can't impact. So like that will depend definitely on the particular product. But what I'm trying to say is there are regulations. That is like for example, like our medical Indian Medical Association, or like ISO 13825. All of this regulate usage of electronics inside an implant to a certain extent, that like there are a lot of studies happening today. Even like the product which you're talking about, I've seen a lot of products coming up, sir, like, but not into the commercial market. They are definitely available in the research phase, where definitely yes, like in the next 5 years they'll become products. They'll be everyday use products for a person who's using a pacemaker. Definitely yes, but not today.
Oh, 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 thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So if we don't have any other questions, we can restart. So yeah. So I think the question was related to pacemakers, and again, I'm coming to that. What kind of business or what kind of product can be commercialized, right? Say, for example, in India, startups, we call them as startups. Okay, a startup is a company which is innovative enough. Say, for example, like you can start a tea shop. Okay, tea shop is business. You can start a pharmacy, it's a business. Okay, you can start a hospital, it's again a business. But all of these are not categorized as startups. The reason being, a startup needed to be unique, innovative, and it needed to have the potential to be commercialized and generate revenue, generate profit, generate employments, and definitely yes, create outcomes. Okay, so in India, last 10 years, there are around 1,70,000 registered startups. Okay, I'm giving you an average. Okay, it's 1,70,000. Okay, at least by Today we would have had around 1,80,000, but it's a total estimate. Okay, I'm not talking about in 1 month. Okay, but the number of companies getting registered are 10 times higher. Okay, so what makes startups unique is their innovation, the technology, the amount of time they do in research. So out of this, the healthcare market or the healthcare startups or healthcare companies are much limited. Okay, okay, the reason being a healthcare product. Say, for example, we talk about Apple Watch, we talk about Samsung Watch, or we talk about like, we have a lot of fitness trackers, right? None of this are used inside a hospital, right? No doctor prescribes a smart watch, right? He doesn't write it. Okay, he can say, a doctor can say, okay, fine, why don't you try this? Okay, if he say, for example, like if I have a doctor, okay, who's a cardiac surgeon, okay, who has done a stent implanting inside my heart, okay, the doctor can suggest, okay, you use this particular watch and track it and send me the data, okay, but a doctor can never prescribe. Prescribe is nothing but he can't write it on his notepad or he can't write it on his letter pad. Why? Because these are not regulated devices. So that is why you can definitely build an electronic startup or a smartwatch startup, but not a health smart wearable startup. The reason being, it takes a lot of time to get it regulated. It is a highly regulated industry. Okay, simply put, the industry is lucrative. It is like, say, for example, like, but I'll tell you, the industry is one of the most attractive industry for a foreign investor. Okay, for any investor, healthcare is a very attractive industry because any product sold to a hospital or sold to a healthcare is definitely costly. Okay, high cost means higher profit. Higher profit means better return to an investor. But for us, that is for us as engineers, we need to go through a certain procedure which is stringent enough, which makes the process longer. It's not difficult. Today, like the process is definitely easy, it's definitely smooth, okay, but the process is lengthier. Okay, say for example, if you are a smartwatch, you can directly launch into the market with just a display, it's just ROH complaints, with just IEC complaints, or with just studying the SAR value, you can just send it into the market, but not a healthcare product because we are dealing with lives, right? You can't take risk. Your product needed to go through certain stringent policies and regulations. I'll definitely talk about policies and regulations in the upcoming slides. So yeah, so what are the business opportunities available today? Surgical tools, equipments. You can design, you can develop a new surgical tool, right? So for example, you can even build a scalpel which is lightweight but cuts much sharper than existing scalpels. It is definitely an innovation in surgical tools and equipments. You need not see, for example, like when we talk about clinic to concept, it's not always robotics, it's not always AI, it's not always it need not be smart, right? It can be an innovation at the ground level. It can be an incubator. It can be an autoclave. It can be a syringe, which is innovative enough to make an impact to the user, that is a doctor, and to the consumer, that is the who consumes it, the end patient, right? So there are two types of like selling. One is to the consumer, one is to the user. I'll definitely explain it in the upcoming slides. Medical devices and wearables. We have pulse oximeter, as like sir asked. We can work on pacemakers. We can make smart wearables. So that is why I told when my first slide or first third slide, don't find solutions to problems. It can be difficult, but finding solutions to the problems created by solutions are much easier, much simpler, and much profitable. Because I'll tell you one example. Okay, we do say, for example, we all switched between keypad phones to smartphones faster. Okay, but we took longer time to switch between a telephone to a mobile phone. The reason being the switch is much faster with upgrades than technology changes. Okay, so that is where that comes in. Identifying a problem for existing solutions is much easier. Okay, but see, like definitely yes, there is a huge market. Okay, there was a larger market. There is a larger like need for such problems as well. But here we are talking about entrepreneurship. We are talking about business. How do we convert products into money? How do we how do we convert products into outcome which has a byproduct which is money, right? So yeah, medical devices and wearables, implants, biomaterials, augmented reality, virtual reality, any new technology can be AI, it can be AR, it can be VR, anything. Biofluid dynamics is one industry which is not highly used or highly tested. Say, for example, biofluid dynamics. I'll give you one simple example: a stent. Right? I know a few companies who are larger in biofluid dynamic analysis. Okay, even we work with a few companies on biofluid analysis. Say, for example, a stent. Okay, a stent needed to be or stent or the entire procedure goes through fluids, right? So the entire design needed to be in a way that it doesn't rupture any of your blood vessel. It doesn't kill, or it does kill smaller amount of red blood cells, smaller amount of blood cells. Okay, even if it should not puncture, right? We should make sure that it doesn't puncture, even if it hits, right? So that is where study or analysis of building biofluid dynamic businesses. Anatomical and surgical mannequins, modeling, analysis. Today we have a lot of limitations with physical mannequins, a lot of limitations with physical cadavers, being making it very expensive, making it unavailable. Okay, so building anatomical mannequins, surgical mannequins, practice mannequins, etc., etc. AI, definitely yes. We've been talking about building solutions in AI for the healthcare. Say, for example, during COVID, there were a lot of companies working on building AI solutions to detect pneumonia, right? With just CT images. I take CT image, send it or upload it into the platform. Say, for example, today we use this, right? Say there is a tool called background remover, right? In that, you go to background remover, upload an image, you get a image without a background. Similarly, what if you're able to, or what if you're capable enough to upload your CT image and tell a result that, okay, fine, this person has no pneumonia, this person has yes pneumonia, yes, no, but no. AI is giving solutions which are preventive enough. With just one or few images, AI is today capable enough to tell that this person doesn't have pneumonia, but with certain factors, this person can have pneumonia in the next 5 years. Right? With probably not only CT image, but with more amount of data. Say, for example, I give a BMI, I give my like say for example, I give my BMI, I give my heart rate, I give all my vital parameters along with the CT image. The AI can be able to detect or prevent me by telling that I can have pneumonia in the next 5 years. right? So that is where AI is helping us a lot, right? Doctors can say, okay, fine, this is my report for the last few years. If my, like, for example, if my HbA1c has been consistently rising for a few years, the doctor can say, okay, fine, you'll definitely reach a point where you'll be diabetic, right? But what about chronic diseases? Say, for example, what about what about Alzheimer's? Okay, what about cardiovascular disease? What about a heart attack? What about all of this? Right? Can be prevented by detecting it earlier. I'm not talking about earlier in since 3 months or 4 months. We can even detect diseases before 5 years, before 10 years. Right? Like I think today we all understand DNAs, we all understand like CRISPR, we all understand genomes, we all understand gene editing. We are analyzing genes, we are analyzing DNAs to list down the diseases I can have, I can't have, and how to prevent. What are the way of food? I know a company, okay, like a very close friend of mine, Sushant. He's running a company called Gene Fertilitics, okay, which does genomic research and suggests food. Okay, it's not a very big company, very big technology, but understand, they take a blood test, okay, they understand microbiomes, they understand your DNA, they suggest food, they suggest health, care routine, they suggest exercises based on that, right? So that is how AI is definitely helping all of us. Fitness and wellness again, right? Today, at least after COVID, the fitness and wellness industry has grown about 46%. Okay, it's huge, right? 46% is not easy for any industry, but fitness and wellness have done it. We might never have thought that food could be delivered at home. But today, we have food customized as per my particular body weight, as per my particular goal. I can customize my food. Okay, not the food alone. I can customize the ingredients. Okay, so that is one industry which is definitely growing up: fitness and wellness, diagnostics and preventive care. I think today we all know about thyrocare. Okay, like one of the largest laboratories in India. Okay, like fortunately, I got an opportunity to work with them. Like I started my career there. It's one of the largest diagnostic laboratory has implemented AI. Like they've been doing wonderfully well. The reason being, they started a business. They understood the problem of the consumer. What was the problem? There was one simple problem. There was thyroid testing, right? So the problem was thyroid. The solution is diagnosis. So the technology used was equipments. Okay, it was already existing. What Thyrocare founder did, he understood that that solution of thyroid testing had a problem, which was the thyroid testing at that point, that is at 1996, was highly expensive. It was around 900 rupees per test. Okay, so now he came up with a solution of providing that test at a cost effective way. He gave it at 60 rupees, right? From 900 to 60 was a cost cut, right? Definitely an innovation in cost cutting, but you can't do it without innovating technology. He spoke with Siemens, he spoke with GE, like he spoke with biomedical companies like these, and provided a solution which made Thyrocare one of India's largest thyroid laboratory, and then slowly they came into preventive care laboratory. This is one example. Okay, today we don't have thyroid tests as expensive as it was, but today we have tests which are expensive, definitely yes. Okay, we have, say for example, just to give one example, okay, allergies. Okay, in diagnostics and preventive care, allergies or allergy testing is one of the most expensive tests which we have today. Okay, allergies can be simpler, but it's critical, it's crucial, right? I'm not aware that what allergy I have. None of us do allergy testings, right? Because it's not prevalent enough. Why? Because it's expensive. Or we're not aware that we have an allergy, or we live with allergies, or we don't have that much prevalence, right? We don't have people with allergies to that extent that there a market exists. Okay, I'll definitely be coming to all of it. How? Yeah. So now I've been talking about multiple solutions, multiple problems, multiple use cases, all of it. Okay. So now coming to the core of how. How how am I going to do this? Okay. One, identifying a clinical problem. I told you one problem here, that is allergies. A sir mentioned a problem. Pacemakers don't have trackers or don't have vital parameter monitoring inside. It's a problem. It's a solution. It's a problem. Okay. Identify clinical problems. One major thing which we all fail to do when we think of problems is we keep thinking from our perspective. Okay, we definitely need to come out of our perspectives. Because see, like, I'm a biomedical engineer, I can definitely not understand a doctor's perspective or a patient's perspective the way a doctor will understand, right? So if you are willing to build a product to the hospital, to the outcome of, to the better outcome of patients, definitely talk to patients through doctors or hospitals. Okay, because going to patients is very difficult. Say for example, you might have seen this, like patients lie to doctors, patients don't, like we as patients, for example, if I'm a patient, I go to a doctor, I'm not 100% true, I can't definitely tell 100%. Even if I can't tell it to the doctor, I'll not tell it to you. I'll not say, for example, if I wanted to build a product to just to make it stigmatic, okay, just to make it uncomfortable for a person to talk. Say, for example, I have a rash, okay, and I am an engineer, okay. I wanted to go and talk to people who have rashes. Will I be getting an answer? No, definitely, right? He is definitely going to be my study, like that is the person who I need to study from, but he's not definitely going to give me an answer, right? So, in design thinking, we call it as, like in design thinking we call it as indirect approach. Okay, rather than approaching the problems directly, we approach it to a different way, that is doctors. Because doctors know, doctors have a list of patients, doctors will definitely tell us, I have 30 patients, and definitely it's a larger quantity, right? You can't go and find patients with rashes. You can't just go and search for patients with rashes on road, in a bus stand, in a railway station, right? The place where this people come is a skin clinic. Go to a skin clinic, talk to a doctor. What is the problem he is facing, or what is the problem his or her patients are facing, right? So identifying a clinical problem is very important. Next, validating your solution. Come up with a solution to that problem. Keep thinking, keep talking, keep discussing with a clinician, with a medical practitioner, with a doctor, with any person who you know or who gave this problem. Okay, because ultimately with patients. Okay, you might have seen this, right? In hospitals, okay, when you go to hospitals, there is something called, like today, when you go to a medical college or when you go to a hospital, you can see the medicines prescribed in a medical college can be different from a hospital. It differs from hospital to hospital as well. But in medical colleges, you get a lot of opportunities to do research, not at an early stage. Medical colleges, except at Stage 8, that is TRL level 8, when you are commercially validated, when you validated all of your results has come out, when you connect market, right? When your product is ready, you can connect market through medical colleges. Okay, that is where medical colleges allow testing as well. Okay, once all of your clinical trials are complete, once all of your like validation is complete, once all of your laboratory testing is complete, then you can get into the hospitals through research and trials. So this is what I was talking about. Medical business or the medical healthcare, health tech business is time taking, is time consuming, because all of this research takes time, all of this validation takes time, and certifications is one expensive thing which needed to be there. You can't use, say for example, you build a, so we are sitting in a college. I build a pulse oximeter. Can I use it on the patient? Yes, I can. But will I be able to use it to diagnose anything? No. Pulse oximeter cannot diagnose anything. But can I use it to prescribe medicines? No. Can I use it in my diagnosis? No. Can a doctor use it? No. Will a hospital buy it? No. Why? Because it's a product. It can be a product which is not yet certified, not yet validated. Okay, you need to get it validated, you need to get it certified. Okay, a few certifications is ISO, that is like we have 13825, which is biomedical. We have IMA certifications. Okay, and CE is definitely the European standard of getting it certified. Okay, we have other compliances. We have IEC. Okay, electronics compliances which needed to be certified. Only once all of your certifications are there, you'll be able to sell it into the market. Okay, again coming to regulatory approvals and commercialization. Only once your product is regulated, it's complied, then you can get into the commercialization aspect of it. Okay. So now I'll just brush up my all of my previous slides once again before getting into the next part of it. Okay. Till now I've been talking about medicine, 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 medicine. From now I'll be talking about business, 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 business. Okay. Just to go back, understanding, identify an opportunity from solution that create problems. Easy, faster way of building a solution. Okay, healthcare innovation, how to enhance the patient's outcome, perspective from hospital to the hospital. Okay, your source is the hospital. That is, I was talking about, like identify the problem from the hospital. Okay, you can conceptualize, you can discuss with the doctor, build it along with the hospital to the hospital. Okay, because hospital is the place where patients can get benefit of your product. The market is growing, the government is helping, the financial, there are a lot of financial opportunities available. Agenda, definitely I don't want to repeat it. Why me? Allreal is a company who works in hospitals or works with hospitals in building gamification. Why, who, what, when, and where. Why? Because we understand health. Why now? Because of increasing risk. There is the problem is increasing. Okay, we have easy solutions. We have technology growth. What n number of opportunity. Okay, how identify the clinical problem, do research, do product. See here, you can see I would have 1, 4, 5. The reason being 2 and 3 is prototyping, productizing. Okay, I'm not the right person to talk, or this is not the right place to talk, or I don't have to tell you people about how to prototype, what is the solution. It's simple. Okay, identify the problem, discuss with the doctors, build a prototype, again get it to the validating phase. Okay, how not to. Now, coming to the business aspects of it. Okay, I told you 17,000 I mean 1,70,000 startups have been registered. Startups, okay. Indian government recognizes a company, a startup, when the company is unique, it has a unique value proposition, it has an innovation to the core, okay, and it has capable to generate revenue, generate employment, and create an impact to the society. Only when a company is registered as a or approved as a or certified as a startup. According to the global survey of startups, 98 percentage of startups fail. Only 2% startups become successful. Okay. So startups who are successful, we are talking about Practo, we can talk about NetMeds, we can talk about, I'm only picking healthcare startups. Okay. Um, we can talk about like NetMeds, Practo, all of these are software based startups. Hardware startups, we have voxel grids. Okay, we have Merrill. Okay, these are companies which have become huge. Okay, in medical devices, in hospitals, in innovations, even ICUs. Okay, so yeah. So the why do startups fail? When I was talking, if we have a see, like we do have problem that is in hospitals. A doctor can come and say 100 problems which he faces on everyday life. We as engineers can think of 100 solutions to all of that problems, right? For one problem, we can definitely think of 100 solutions. But why are we not able to solve that problems? Because a problem can only be solved in a hospital once a product or an idea is commercialized, right? A solution needed to be commercialized. A commercialization is only when a product is converted into a business, right? Why is businesses lucrative? Businesses make a lot of money. Businesses create a lot of value. Businesses create a lot of opportunities. Businesses create a lot of employment. Businesses create a lot of impact to the society. Say, for example, India. Like name four companies in India: Tata, Jio, Reliance. We can say Aditya. We can say like Vedanta. Like we can say multiple companies, right? All of these are conglomerates, top 500 Fortune 500 companies. Name five startups: Flipkart, Blinkit, Zomato, Swiggy. Like we have Voxel Grids, we have different companies. Again, into the Byju's. What about the healthcare market? The healthcare list of companies are not widely spoken about, are not widely. They don't grow to that extent. Okay, like definitely are not a healthcare startup grow to that extent. But yeah, like NetMeds, Practo, they definitely grew to that extent. Being a software, health tech startups. Okay. Out of this, why only two startups or 2% startups become successful? And what is becoming successful is simply put, sustaining a startup to a particular point of revenue. Or let's say, for example, if a startup breaks 100 crore revenue, 100 crore annual revenue, it is considered not a startup anymore. Okay, if a startup is greater than 10 years, if a startup holds its like runs that company for 10 years, he is no more a startup. Okay, these are all can be considered a successful startup. Okay, so yeah, why is in when we talk about hospitals, I was repeatedly talking about time. It takes a lot of time to even sell your first product. Okay, that is, you have a problem. Your doctor comes to you. He gives you you give him a solution. You build a prototype. You clinically validate it. You get it certified, and you sell your first product. Okay, it takes time. Okay, a startup or a business can never be built in seconds. It takes years, right? Say, for example, even to understand what a business is, what a startup is, what is MOA, what is AOA, I've been running startup for like this company for 4.5 years. Before that, a year and a half, almost 6 years. I've never today I don't understand every part of it. I'm still learning. Okay, I'm still learning what is accounts, what is EBITDA, what is tax, what is IT. All of it is still a process. I'm not talking about the technical complexity yet. Hospitals, when I talk about hospitals, okay, hospitals innovate, right? Because see, you are a person who's giving to a solution to a person. This person can also innovate. He keeps innovating. That is his fraternity. The hospitals, the healthcare fraternity keeps innovating. We as engineers keep innovating. This needed to amalgamate at some point. It can start here. If it keeps innovating at two different angles, it won't even collide, right? Because it will go at two different angles. So whenever we start at same point, hospital and an engineer or a business need to travel parallelly and incline towards the same goal, so that when you collide, you can use that product to a larger extent. Okay, for this we need a lot of time. So why do startups fail? Lack of perseverance. How can we solve it? Be patient. Lack of funds. Hospitals can fund. You can go to a hospital, pitch them, take a grant of 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs. We have government institutions who fund hospital only medical products. BIRAC, we have BIRAC, DSC only fund healthcare products. Competitive fear of competition. Okay, you can definitely be afraid of competitions, if, for example, Medtronics, etc. But win, like you definitely win. Don't defeat any person. Future trends in medical devices, emerging technologies is definitely there. AI, augmented reality, virtual reality, smart tech, smart wearables, wearable tech, digital health, digital twinning are a few technologies which are definitely in the future trends. Okay. So I'm available on LinkedIn. My name is Vishnu. Once again, available on LinkedIn as Vishnu DU. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. I'm open for questions. I hope I'm on time. I have 10 minutes to close this session. I'm open for questions. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity once again.
Hi, this is Guna here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, so it's great to have here, and there are a lot of insights I've learned about. So I have some questions about All Real. Actually, I have experience in VR and AR. I have some quite of difficulties in VR and AR in healthcare actually. So if you are, I have seen your website before when I looked into the agenda. So you have like a VR module for OGB and for nurse training and medical device go through. While looking into it, what I personally felt when I was developing a module in Unity or Unreal Engine, I felt like there is no real feedback that can be given to a nurse or a doctor that can be as accurate as a human would suggest it. Am I right? So, how do you just manage those modules? Because creating a game is very easy for me. We can add some UI, UX, and soundproofs and haptics, which cannot be regulated, but creating a module for a healthcare is like really difficult, and I don't see a market of creating a VR and AR module of my perspective. As I was doing some gaming, I felt it very. I don't know how it is, and I was developing some corporate modules for VR and AR because there is a too much of a person can train a single person can't train everyone in corporate so that they indulge in VR. But in healthcare, there is a very limited people who studies of how to work a CT machine. The market is very less, and so how do you uh, manage those things? And is this a possible business idea that future entrepreneurs can pick it up?
Got it. So, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. It was
My name is Guna here.
Guna. Okay. So, Guna, I I think what you're faced, we are also facing it on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
Okay, because AR or VR in industry or in the market or in the Indian market very particularly, it's not highly adapted. Okay, there are a few reasons for this technology for not getting adapted because like the device as you mentioned, but AR or VR, like AR is a different context, but I'll very specifically talk about VR because that is more of gamified training. If you are able to build a hospital product, a hospital training solution, which replicates the existing regulated training methodology according to the IMA standards, okay, which is highly accurate, at least 90% accurate, okay,
Yeah.
and which cannot be done using or which cannot be practiced by a doctor or a professional or a hospital or a nurse on a day-to-day basis. If you are able to build it in VR, definitely there is a scope. Just to give you one example, okay, lateral knee surgery, okay, lateral knee surgery or a total knee surgery is not a procedure which people get to do every day, right? Any doctor or like a nurse cannot assist in like a total knee surgery on an everyday basis, unless or until she is working under a knee surgeon. Okay,
Okay.
but if you are able to build such solutions, you definitely yes. But if you are building solutions which are easy to access, right? So, for example, if you not only VR, any technology. Say, I'll just give you one example. If you wanted to build VR to train human anatomy, okay, just to give you a brief use case, human anatomy. Human anatomy is easily learned on a human, right? You don't need VR for that, right? Whenever there is a barrier to learn, whenever there is a barrier to break, say for example, like we don't have access to CAD works, this is a barrier. For dissection, we can definitely use virtual reality. We can use like dissection training. And for entrepreneurs who come into VR, I would say today, if you want to build business in VR, you primarily focus on the manufacturing industry where the training is more intense than the applications industry like hospitals. Right. So when I was talking about I provide solutions to the hospitals and medical equipment manufacturers. Right.
Yes.
I hope there is a bigger industry than directly in the hospitals, than directly training the doctors.
So, so that's the major uh, setback that I am facing right now, because I can't go ahead and train a doctor like the module is better than yours, and you can't just go ahead and have an us to say that my module is like it's a bit more accurate, because they don't believe us generally. I too have a doctor in my home, and he's like, this is I was planning to do a IV training module for a nurse. I visited my very own colleague of my doctor. He said like, this is literally some bullshit you are facing. Right? It cannot be. How do you manage the pressure to get a IV needle? It cannot be done. He said there are so many limitations in VR that I can't really process it in my mind. Even though I was very much interested in those things. Uh, a few months back, I was like too much of a setback for me to getting into VR and AR.
Understood, and I think that is unfortunate today. Like we do have certain limitations with the technology itself, right?
Okay.
So VR as a technology is itself at a very nascent stage. It's not a technology which is it's not like, so for example, for CT machine to become CT machine, it took 6 generations,
Yes, yes.
right? The CT machines today we have is around like seventh or eighth generation of CTs, right? Like to CTs to be at every hospital, it took 6 generations. The technology VR is at very early stage and technology to be adapted, and that's why like see, for example, if you want to get into the hospitals today with Indian landscape, the only way to approach is either through pharma companies or through medical companies. You approach a hospital directly, it's a very hard route. You approach directly a medical equipment manufacturer, you approach a pharma manufacturer or pharmaceutical company, that's a better approach. You being a technology provider, it's easier approach. Directly taking any product to the hospital can be very cumbersome, to be honest.
So how do you manage? Because I've seen the modules. Is there? profitable customer that you are facing right now? Uh,
We do have like we work with around 40 hospitals. Like we do have a few customers. Like, but we don't solely like as I mentioned, we most of our customers are manufacturers. We work with manufacturing companies. We provide it through the medical equipment manufacturers, so that like most of our work becomes easier. So, for example, for us, like we build equipment trainings. Equipment training, I can't build it without an equipment provider. So I collaborate with an equipment provider, give it to the hospital, and hospital uses it. And we make sure that we don't build like modules which are not usable, right? We have at least see, we as business people, like you as business people, are we all sitting here thinking that we wanted to start a business. Only thing we need to be make sure is you don't have to build, you don't have to inject a technology just because there is a technology. If a doctor is saying, hey, I don't want VR, why don't I have a desktop based simulator? Go for a desktop based simulator.
yes, yes,
Right. We're all slaves of customers. Right.
yes,
Like business
yeah,
people are just slaves of customers. You just listen to your customer. Don't change it for every customer. But at least if thousands of customers are saying one singular feedback, which is I don't want VR headset, don't you just change from VR to a better solution.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and our solutions like we have like cross platform. It can be used on a desktop. It can be used on a VR. VR is just an add-on which we give it along with these devices so that if they want, they can use it. But it's not a mandatory thing for them to use it. But yeah, VR the experience which VR gives, none of other devices can give.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the final, like a request that we have a dedicated VR team in biomedical department in our college. Uh, is there any opportunity that we can get in to visit your company and get some insightful of knowledges that we can acquire on VR and AR?
Sure, sure. We can connect offline. Like you can reach out to me through LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah, like Vishnu to you. Like you can find me on LinkedIn, or I can drop my email ID as well. It's vishnu@man.com.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
And probably like we can connect offline and we can discuss about this further.
Sure. 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 Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? Yeah. Sir, can you hear me? Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity once again.
Sir, just a minute.
So we have a question.
Yes.
Yes, sir. This is Ravichandra again. Sir, my question is about the designing point of view.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, we have developed our digital system, medical digital system.
Okay.
It's working fine, no problem. And also, we have developed one model which would able to classify some kind of the cardiac diseases. It's also working fine, no problem. But here, the system, the digital system which I have developed on embedded platform, which means we have used that embedded C code as well as C code. Along with that, so many hardware system have developed and calibration. So many things are there as
Okay.
well as well. Now my question is, how do I incorporate? Which means how do I integrate my model into that real system? That's one big question. Is there any chance to make, I mean, is there any chance to establish the communication between the model and the system individually? Or how can we integrate that model into the system? These are my question. Is there any special ICs are available or is there any special model itself available for integrating both?
Sir,
Both are,
I don't have an over the top answer for this question as of now, but definitely yes, sir. Like I can assist you. Like probably we can connect offline.
okay.
Because like I think I need to do some research on the what exactly are we talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is done, definitely I'll be able to help you, sir.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Have you come across such a system so far, which means a digital system which could work along with that AI-based model like that?
So
Any
I
other?
think there are a few solutions, but like without knowing the exact application, like so for example, like there are a lot of edge computing devices, edge computing hardware, which does AI and integrate digital systems into it. There are a few systems, but I don't want to suggest one without knowing the exact application and exact demand for demand and performance required. But definitely yes, we can connect offline and we can definitely assist you in that.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Yeah.
We'll keep in touch with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Vishnu, this is Vijay, faculty of Biomedical Department, and thanks for your support to the department for a very long while. I have a few questions, shall I? The first question is, you just mentioned about the wearables. It has a very large market in India, but the attitude of the Indian towards the physical exercise every day is not on par with the global population. Though we have a very good population, though the evaluation of wearables are very good, but the usability of the each and every individual is very very low as far as our Indian growth, population growth. So the product should be developed with respect to the attitude of the individual, or vice versa.
Yes, sir. I think what you have said is right, sir. Like last, I gifted my parents both smartwatch like last wedding anniversary, and they don't use it. At least my father uses it just because it looks good, but my mom doesn't use it. But yeah, I think. The products are like even today when we look at these devices, when I just give you one example, like Sarigama, when Sarigama Car 1 came up, like the Car 1 is primarily focused on one thing, that is gifting. The product is a super hit, and similarly, these devices are today focused on younger generation. Like it's not for the generation which is already, like say for example 40 plus. It's more of when you see today, I think I can definitely say tell you this, like today at least, out of the crowd students, if you have students, like at least 5 students would be wearing a smartwatch. In the next few years every student would be wearing a smartwatch. I think that is where the technology is growing. That is where the demands and the trends are growing. But when you talk about hospital standards or the healthcare standards or the fitness standards, today's 80% of the smart devices available in the market, commercial market, do not satisfy those requirements. A few devices which satisfy those requirements are highly expensive and used by like most fitness enthusiasts or sports professionals. And the device sizes are coming significantly down today. We are talking about Samsung's Ring, O Ring, we have Aura Ring, like hospitals or healthcare standards are coming to very smaller sizes. I think that is where the industry trends are moving on. Definitely, yes, like there are a lot of opportunities there, but do we have an opportunity for a startup or a business there? It's questionable because like it's a very competitive market today.
Okay, yeah, fine. So my final question. So as you are very new and you are budding startup founder, so how this thought came into your mind during your studies? Like, how did you have this thought? Like after graduation, just wanted to be a startup founder. Uh, so what is your message to the participants who are all being here?
Sir, I don't know like if I'll be a big inspiration because like I didn't start just out of college. I worked for almost 2.5 years. Then only I started this. But I had this thought always. I think the website was launched way back. Once I got out of my college, I launched the website. Thought is I had a very simple thought. That is I definitely understand that I wanted to become a biomedical engineer. once I got my 12th, 11th standard, and I was very sure that I'll become a biomedical engineer because I have definitely loved science and engineering together. So I wanted to become biomedical engineer. And once you get into the job market is very harsh on all of us. At least harsh in terms of in India, at least like engineers are not considered engineers to a larger extent. We are asked to do jobs like we do sales jobs, we do different kinds of jobs. Like we don't do engineering jobs, and that was one thing which I had very personal regret with. And then I thought, okay, fine, why don't I start something and become an engineer? Like I wanted to become an engineer at some point in my life because I did 4 years understanding what engineering is. Like at least going through biomedical engineering was very easy for me. Just because I loved it, it was very easy. But when I got out of the career market, it was very tough. And to say, I think today, fortunately, like the company, like just to give you one context, I started with zero funds. Like I had no funds, but after 1 year, I was able to bring in money around 16 lakhs from my personal savings. Okay, so that is like I earned 16 lakhs within 1 year. That was not enough. Today we have raised around 1.4 crores as grants, as loan and funds from the government alone. Like we don't have an external investor yet. We do have an external investor who's coming in on board soon. But apart from that, the government alone has supported to us in a larger extent. Different government funds, say BIRAC, DST, we've got funds from DST, we've got funds from MIT. These are different organizations who fund us. And for startups, for us, like I think I always believe that if I'm not wasted 2 hours of or it's not 2 year wasted, but if I've not used 2 years of work, I wouldn't have understand the corporate world. And for all of you sitting here, for students, I would say this is the right time to start up, because if you are in college, there are a lot of funding opportunities which is available. Just pin your idea, drop in your idea. Even like my friends who started, for example, we all have formed, like we have started investing in startups, we have started investing in ideas, right? Like, because there are a lot of ideas, but we all need one person who comes up and says, okay, fine, this is an idea, I'll do anything to bring this idea into reality. Because like it's been 6 years since I started, and today we have that grit saying that okay, fine, I'll still long 15 more years to make this idea a reality. So we want passionate individuals who can come up, and if you have that passion to build something very strong, you'll definitely be able to become successful. Not immediately, but definitely. So I think business guarantees definite success. Like all of your other verticals or startups can guarantee definite success, because it gives you a lot of pressure. It gives you a lot of like understanding about life, understanding about profession, understanding about each other, understanding about human being, understanding about money. All of this is higher when you start a business. And if you have a product idea, medical product idea, medical science is the largest industry in India, around the globe. Funding opportunities are phenomenal. You just go and pitch your idea, right? Like without anything, you get 3 lakhs. Just an idea gets 3 lakhs. An idea to prototype get 10 lakhs. Prototype to MVP get 50 lakhs. Without even spending 1 rupee, you can. I'm not telling you with this 50 lakhs you can buy an iPhone, or you can buy an iMac, or you can buy a home or car. You can't do that, okay? But with the funding, you can definitely, if you have an idea, with all of this funding, you can make this idea a reality, and that reality will give you byproduct, that is money, which you can buy a mobile phone, buy a car, or anything. That can be definitely done. Yeah, I hope I've been like able to deliver something qualifiable. I'll be definitely be able to provide some insights. If you can connect me on LinkedIn, I'll be available on LinkedIn. I'll be definitely be able to provide insights more as well. Thank you so much. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you. All the best wishes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the participants? Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Vishnu, and thanks for joining. Thanks for accepting our invitation. So we will be in touch.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all the very best. Thank you so much.